driving the 2025 Genesis GV80 Coupe through Minnesota and getting a real sense for what Genesis wants to do with this vehicle. It's obviously a sportier version of the GV80 SUV, and Genesis representatives told us that that's really what they wanted. They wanted to move from kind of a family-oriented luxury vehicle to a driver-oriented performance vehicle, and that's why they created this coupe version of the SUV. Not unusual. We've seen this from Mercedes. We've seen this from BMW. A long time ago, we saw it from Acura with the ZDX. Didn't go over so well. Now it's coming back as a pure electric car. But the Genesis Coupe starts at $79,950. That's the quote-unquote base model, which is really impressively equipped. It comes with 20-inch wheels. It comes with Bang & Olufsen audio system, sunroof, Napa leather, heated and ventilated front and rear seats, power rear seats, a head-up display, and of course the full width of advanced driver assist systems that Genesis and Hyundai are known for, and they've got really good ones. That's the base model. The upgraded version has a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, the same thing as the standard one, but it also has this electronic supercharger, and it bumps the power from the 375 to 409 horsepower and gives a lot more torque. It also includes a Sport Plus driving mode with launch control, 22-inch wheels, quad exhaust tips, dark exterior trim, black brake calipers, and carbon fiber interior trim. This one costs $85,750. Those are the two versions that you get. It's really amazing when you think about the standard equipment that comes on that base model. I would probably prefer the increased performance you're going to get with this upgraded version, and for about $6,000 more, it's not a lot of extra money for the extra power and some of those other nice features. Genesis is known for having really high quality interior materials, and this car is no exception. This GV80 Coupe comes with not only the expected high quality Napa leather, but the Coupe specifically includes these performance kind of cues, whether it's the contrasting orange seat belts or the stitched leather on the steering wheel, which by the way, flat bottom, performance. Also that carbon fiber trim I mentioned here, and of course the standard 27-inch wide display touchscreen with no brakes. Hyundai is very proud of the fact that it's not only this super wide screen, but there's no brakes in the screen. It's just continuous from the gauge cluster area to the center display that you'd use for touch controls. And when you hear 27 inches, you think, okay, how is that not going to be massively distracting? But the truth is, it's 27 inches wide, as you see here, but it's pretty low. So I'm watching the street, I'm not even thinking about that screen, and when I need information, I've got a big, wide band of digital information that I can easily look at. It's really pretty impressive, and a great way to incorporate the advanced technology of high-definition screens that we're all expecting in today's world without distracting me from the outer world and my driving view, which should still be my primary focus. Obviously the GV80 Coupe isn't very different from the front, but it is a little different. These openings are a little larger than they were on the SUV from which this vehicle springs. The biggest change is this grille, which Genesis is calling a multi-dimensional grille, and you can see how there are multiple elements to it. There's both this kind of exterior dark chrome, and then there's this kind of secondary level behind the chrome. It gives it more depth, and they're hoping a more premium and sporty feel compared to the GV80 SUV. It's the back half of this vehicle that's really different from the SUV. The GV80 Coupe starts with the B-pillar headed back and a different roof line, and this what they call kind of parabolic tension inside the quarter panels. It's pretty cool. We've actually got sunlight coming in, and you can see how there's actually bright sun here because this is coming out so far. They call this a deep draw, and it's not easy to do. It was much harder to do a couple decades ago, but now you've got really advanced body panel manufacturing processes, and you can have these what they call kind of reverse parabolic shifts where the body really comes out, starts deep and then comes further out. I think it's really neat that they decided to not just expose but kind of highlight the tailpipes. Where they kind of hide them on the GV80 SUV, they emphasize them on the GV80 Coupe, speaking to the performance aspects of the vehicle. the overhang is longer. This car sticks out further off the rear wheels than the SUV. The philosophy here is they want the car to have a sleek look, and a lot of times when they kind of coupe eyes, for lack of a better verb, they coupe eyes these SUVs. A lot of times what they do is they push the interior forward and then pull down the back of the car. In this vehicle, they didn't impact the interior at all. In fact, the rear seat's just as large as it was in the SUV. They just lengthened the back of the car, and this overhang got longer, and that adds to the sleek look of the car from a profile without compromising the interior. The interior of this car, as mentioned, has not been compromised by the coupe execution. What that means is I've got plenty of room here. In fact, if you look, I'm 6 feet tall, and this seat is adjusted for me. I was just driving it. I'm also sitting behind myself now, and plenty of legroom here, plenty of headroom here. There's actually a bit of a relief in the roof here. You don't see it from the outside, but the roof goes up a little bit back here, adding to your headroom. And I'm totally fine at 6 feet tall sitting back here. And then you've got these standard power rear seats, and that means I can recline. These are also heated and ventilated even on the base model. If you're looking for a family car that has maybe more attractive looks and definitely more driver focused, but doesn't compromise interior comfort, unless you need a third row, this is gonna serve you. How much cargo space do you lose because of this fastback design? Less than you might think. You continue to have your cargo cover here, and you continue to have a good amount of room behind those rear seats, and obviously you can fold those down and you can remove this cover and end up with that much more space behind the rear seats, or behind the front seats if you fold everything down. Look at the stitching and texture on these seats. I feel like this is where you see Genesis doing its thing. They don't just have high quality leather, but they try to go an extra step. They're trying to build their brand in the face of high quality German luxury cars. And you see it in not just these plush leather seats, but these textured, quilted plush leather seats that are really impressive looking. And I love the fact that you can be as specific about colors in this car. Of course, you can get this car with a black interior and a white interior, but you can also get it with this very sleek blue leather interior that you see here. There's official names. I don't have them all memorized. They sound much fancier than beige and blue, but they're very cool interior colors, and you can specify those for the interior of the car as opposed to just your standard black or even black and white. The other impressive thing about this vehicle is that it represents Genesis' ability to turn a vehicle from concept to production in a pretty short time frame. This was first shown at the New York Auto Show in April of 2023, and it had this cool kind of magma theme to it. It was this bright orange color, and it just looked like an incredibly wild vehicle to come from a reserved premium brand from Korea. And that was in April of 23 at New York. By November of 23, they had confirmed production of this vehicle because it got such a positive reaction. I mean, people really liked the GV80 Coupe they saw in New York as a concept. November 23, it's announced as a production vehicle and confirmed, and here we are, August of 24, and it's a full production vehicle. That's a rapid turnaround, and it reflects, again, Genesis' willingness to go after a vehicle if they get encouragement from the public that it's going to be a popular vehicle, and that's what they got from this one. And the only thing that you see in this car beyond the overall shape and the name that really reflects that original magma, crazy lava colored vehicle is the contrast stitching and of course these seat belts, this bright orange. But we were told today by Genesis representatives that we're going to see more of this, that there's going to be this kind of ongoing theme of bright orange magma in future Genesis products, likely representing the performance elements of their brand. It's a cool thought when you think about it, right? That they're going to have this color that kind of plays off of the concept of hot lava, and that it's going to be the performance division for this brand, kind of like BMW's M Sport or Mercedes-Benz AMG, but it's going to be magma from Genesis. It's kind of a creative use of a very, well, kind of dangerous but also fascinating concept and element on Earth. You know, the stuff that's in the volcanoes that you don't want to get too close to or you're going to get burned, and yet it's going to represent performance vehicles from Genesis. When are we going to start to see magma vehicles, performance vehicles from Genesis? We don't know yet, but we know that apparently that's in the works and it's coming, and it's an exciting concept. But again, this is a premium division from Korea that wants to compete with the Germans on every level. We know that. If that's what they want to do, they have to have a dedicated performance division just like the Germans do. There's a wide range of driving modes available in this vehicle, and because we've got the higher grade version, we also have the Sport Plus, where you get the extra power and the launch control mode. And like most Genesis vehicles, there's a control button down here, a little dial that you twist, and that changes what mode you're in, and you can feel it. They told us that it is, of course, changing everything from throttle response to suspension tuning to even engine horsepower and noise. And yeah, when we're putting it in Sport Plus and we're on a corner like this, yeah, this is the first time I've had it in Sport Plus. We're going around some, you know, interesting turns here. It's a good section of the road to try. And yeah, I mean, I can tell everything from the exhaust note to the steering weight has shifted on me in a way that's, well, nicely synchronized with this. Wow, this thing, it's really, I've not tried to drive it aggressively until just now. Literally my first time trying it out on camera here, and it's really well tuned. This is interesting. More positive encouragement for future Magma vehicles if this vehicle already feels like this. Wow, this is nice. There's a GV80 SUV out there that this sprang from, but they did a good job of differentiating it through performance. I can already tell. If you're fascinated by the concept of a performance version of the GV80 SUV in this coupe form, and you want to buy one, they're going to go on sale basically right now. They are arriving at dealerships. Pricing has been set. We've told you about it. If you want one of these vehicles, go check with your Genesis dealer. They probably either have one or soon will if they don't already.